Hi, went down to Lafayette today, and I gotta tell you guys, this was the craziest thing. All right, we met with Greg and or I did. Amanda was not feeling well, so she stayed home today and did home things.
I baked bread.
She baked bread, which I'm not supposed to have, but I had it. It's really, really good. Anyway, and so we were watching the Great British Baking Show. So back to where we were going.
Yes.
I went to the log cabin in Lafayette, which is the research center, and I'll post a couple of pictures that I took inside later on. And I met with the historian Michael, and Greg came over and joined us, and Michael was really great. I made an appointment with him because they are closed now because of COVID, and he had all the files out for me ready to go. And it was really fascinating. But I got to tell you, we don't have permission yet to film in Lafayette. So until then, I'm kind of stuck at this research phase, which I have copies that he made for me, and I have tons and tons of pictures in my camera that I took of documents that Amanda has to go through and look for different things that we might want to include in the documentary. But there's a story to be told from today, which is really cool. The most serendipitous thing that's ever happened to me.
And this is a story she hasn't even told me yet.
No, nobody knows this but me and Greg and Michael. But I found a letter in the files that was written in 2005 from one of the descendants of one of the very first families that came to Lafayette, to Yamhill County. And at the bottom of the letter, there was a phone number. Now, you remember this was written in 2005. And I said, well, you know what? I'm going to dial the number. Why not? It couldn't hurt, just what? I might get some guy in Portland. Who knows, And, both Michael and Greg are saying, oh, you're not going to get it. This is 15 years ago. That's pretty old. Well, I dialed the number, and the woman who wrote the letter answered the phone. Can you believe this? 15 years, and the woman who wrote the letter answered the phone. And so what is fabulous is now her father is 90 years old and is still living at home, and he's fine, and we're going to go next Thursday, and I think it's Thursday. I have it in my book. We're going to go next Thursday, and we're going to actually get his story. Now, we had an appointment today, which was the second reason we went down to Lafayette other than the research. But that gentleman canceled, his family canceled, because he was not well enough to do an interview. He is in hospice. We are hoping that he may have a little bit of time left, that we can still go down and eventually talk to him. He's in hospice. He's not expected to live. Mm-hmm. And so this is something we feel like we missed out on, but there's always the possibility that there may be a chance still. So we're going to hope for that. And Greg is runs the Yamhill County Historical Facebook page. Yeah, Facebook group he runs. And so he's the one that's sort of acting as liaison for me with this family in the hopes that maybe we'll get an interview with him. But back to the serendipitous story. We now have an interview with another person next week, and we're going to hopefully be able to work that out. Now, here's the thing, like I said, we still don't have permission to film in Lafayette Cemetery. We have permission in Jacksonville. And so we have to start getting down. I've been spending a lot of time on Lafayette. And it's because it's close to home. It's a good way to get the feel for what we're doing and some research. But we still have to go down to Jacksonville and do the same thing. So that's going to be kind of tough. So what I'm thinking next week is probably what we're going to have to do is leave Lafayette and just go straight to Jacksonville and spend the night down there. Yeah. That's probably what's going to happen if we want to get this done. Because what we want to do, I want to film in Jacksonville before the end of October.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And I would like to finish Lafayette before the end of September, so we actually have something done.
Yeah.
The research phase is the hardest part. It's getting permissions. It's not like you can just run out there and just say, oh, I'm going to film a documentary in this cemetery and let's just do it. There's a process that you have to go through with each one of these communities, because you want to work with the community, because that's who it's for. It's not for me. It's not for Amanda. It's for you guys who live in those communities.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. So we have to have all the permissions in place. and sometimes it can be time consuming. Jacksonville was easy. I was like, wow, phone call and a couple of emails and we're good to go.
Not to mention the fun stuff of the need for releases.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. See, like Yamhill County the Yamhill County Historical Society, who runs the cemetery, they have their own releases. So I don't even know what those look like yet. And we have our releases for the photography and stuff like that. That's why I can't just get on here and say the names of people and things like that, because we don't have permission to do that.
Yeah.
And since some of you out there may know some of these people, we have to keep that quiet until we have those permissions in place. And so I just kind of want to let you guys in a little bit on the sort of backside of this and what's happening here and why it's like we don't have a documentary in the can already. But once we start doing it, it becomes easier.
Yeah, it's a matter of cutting through all that red tape first.
Right.
Because we want to make sure that we're doing everything by the book, by the letter, that,
we don't want to get sued.
Yeah. We don't want to get sued, and we also want to be respectful to the communities that we're going to be talking about, because it's not just about the cemeteries, it's about the communities, it's about
the people,
the history, and it's about the people. And
so, because every person that is buried in those cemeteries has family, and those are the people that we have to make sure that we're respecting, because they're still living, and it's their ancestors, and we want to put them in the best light. Now there are some cool stories though about Lafayette Pioneer Cemetery, but I will stress the ghosts of Pioneer Cemetery, the ghosts of Lafayette, it's not real. There was no witch. She did place a curse, but she wasn't a witch, and there's a whole story behind what really happened. And in the documentary, when we do the short, I'm going to tell y'all about that. Yeah, Greg's going to talk about that. There have been a lot of I found a lot of newspaper clippings that relate to this, going back to when it happened, which is really cool, because this is really well documented. But there are other stories too that are kind of interesting about murders and stuff, and so it's really kind of there's fun stuff, and it's still stuff we don't know yet because we haven't gone through all the papers.
It's also entirely possible that people have kind of conflated the ghost myths of Lafayette Cemetery in New Orleans with the ghost myths of Lafayette Cemetery and
there's a curse. See, there was a curse, and it really was a curse, but it wasn't
a witch.
It was. Most of you if you're from Lafayette, or you're from Newburgh, or in that whole, in McMinnville, you know this story. And so, but there have been lots and lots of newspaper clippings about it over the years. And so that we'll get into that when we do the short from Lafayette Cemetery. So, and I have explained to them how we want to do this. How we want to do it in the cemetery itself. We want to be able to have a little sort of a round table and let people just talk about the stories. And so that's actually how we want to do this. But today was really awesome. I really enjoyed being at the Little Research Center and everything that I picked up from that, and all of the stuff that we have to go through to try to figure out what we want to use, and what's gonna be more interesting to the community and to anybody who comes along and looks at this documentary, short. Now there is another cemetery down there. It's the Masonic Cemetery. They're both Masonic cemeteries, but Lafayette, they don't bury people there anymore, and it's basically a closed cemetery, and there are a lot of graves there that people don't even know who buried there anymore. They're still trying to figure that out. They have been from as far back as the 1950s trying to figure out who's buried there. But the other cemetery is the one we went to that had all the vandalized graves. Yeah. We're probably not going to focus too much on that one right now. We probably would stick to this one, and then once Jacksonville's completed,
then
go back when they've made some repairs in that cemetery and sort of gotten that together. But if you,
because we want the focus to be the history, not the condition.
Right, exactly. It is about the history. So we're hoping that they'll have some repairs done there and have that fixed up. And then when we go back, we'll have something beautiful to show to the community and to anybody else who has an interest in history in that area. And when we get to Jacksonville, like I said, I'm hyped about going down there And so I'm kind of looking forward to making that trip and making it an overnight trip so that we can spend as much time in that cemetery as we want to do making, doing filming and whatever else we feel like doing, looking at the town, because Jacksonville's preserved historically.
Yeah.
And so we want to bring that to the documentary as well. Not the cemetery is the primary focus, and the people whose ancestors, descendants live in the area, but we still want to focus a little bit on this town because of the historical preservation that has gone on there. And but the other thing is we have some equipment, and we've just come into a little bit of money to buy a new lens for the Nikon, which will be fabulous because the lens that I have is a manual, and what I need is a G lens, which is an autofocus lens that's designed specifically for that Nikon camera. And so we've gotten kind of be able to get that, but and I thought initially having a regular video camera would be a good idea, but what I'm seeing looking at what's going on in technology is they're being phased out. Sony's just about stopped making them.
Yeah.
Canon has just about stopped making them. They've gone into the Z cams, and they've gone into the Black Magic cams, and then they have the regular DSLRs the DSLRs and the large format cameras that are made for video as much as they are made for photography. So they're phasing out the normal, the handy cams and all that stuff. So, but on the other hand, if you have a Nikon that is 16 megapixels and you'd like to donate it because you bought a new camera, we would be happy to have it. We would make great use of it. The more cameras we have, the better off we are. We also need microphones, walkie-talkie sets, there's all these different things.
All of that stuff is going to be listed on our website.
It is on the wish list at Amazon. I have listed.
There's a lot of stuff on there. Some of it is stuff we actually need,
right?
And some of it is just like, oh, this would be nice to have to make this as beautiful as possible.
Right. And so, and I tell people when you read before you go to the wish list, that these are things that this is everything we'd like to have, and to make sure you contact me before you go buy something off that wish list, because there may be something that's less expensive on that list that we need more than what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So,
or there may be a different version of the same thing on that wish list that's going to be cheaper, or that may be something that you're more comfortable getting. And we also have our PayPal up.
Yeah. You can donate cash if you want to, and we'll go buy something.
Yeah, we'll have the receipt.
Something. Yeah, we'll have it, and we've said this on the website. I don't know how many of you have actually been to the website, but I'll put a link up to it. You can go there, you can give it PayPal, you can look at the wish list, you can look at the budget. All those things are there. And any monies we receive to make a purchase, it goes to the purchase of equipment. So if you give us $50, we're going to go buy something that we need off that list for $50.
Yeah.
And the wish list has everything we need on it, so you can go in there and look. And then once we purchase it, we will show you a picture of it, because we're going to buy it. We're going to put it on the table, and we're going to show it because we're going to be so happy to have it.
Yep.
And the other, and then we'll put up the receipt where we purchased it, so you know.
All purchases with donated money will be itemized. You'll know exactly what we're getting, when we're getting it. And
I love to update. You'll know.
Yeah, and that way you guys are always up to date on what we're doing, so you know that where any donated funds are going. Just as a, accountability thing.
Right, yeah, accountability, transparency.
Transparency, that's what I was looking for.
Well, it's accountability as well, so you know we're doing what we're doing. And that's one of the reasons why I try to explain why this takes time.
Yeah.
Because we're going to the community, we have to work with the community, we have to do things their way.
Yeah, and on top of research, on top of testing out the equipment we do have.
Because we don't want to go to the cemetery and say, oh, look, what a pretty tombstone.
Yeah, that's kind of not the point. I mean,
not what we want to do.
It can be a pretty tombstone.
Yeah.
But not the, that's not the focus of this
We want to
one.
be able to point out a specific tombstone and say, this is the person buried here, and this is their story.
Yeah.
This is the goal. It's to make sure the community is involved in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole purpose of this. And we want to try to, if I could do every city in Oregon, I would, before I die. Okay? And I could croak it any day. And if I croak, I'm hoping she'll finish it for me. And she's got the thumbs up. But anyway, so is there anything else that we need to update or to talk about?
I don't think right now, but
I'm tired, folks.
yeah, she went all by herself today. I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah. So if anything else we need to cover, I don't want to keep everybody up to 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
I think that's everything. But as always, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to shoot us a message. We'll get back to you.
Yeah. And also, my email address. I know everybody likes to message on Facebook, and Facebook is not the most user-friendly thing on the planet. And so if I've missed a message, I am sorry. I apologize. But our email address is tombstonesproject@gmail.com. And it's tombstonesproject@gmail.com.
Wow.
Yeah, now if you go to the website, there's a contact form. Now, a lot of people don't want to use the contact form, that's fine. But right above it, I wrote the email address. So you can go to the website, to the contact page, and there's the email address. Or you can use that form, which goes to the email address. And so that is really the best way to contact me, because I may not check Facebook every 5 minutes, but my email is constant.
Yeah.
I keep my email in front of me all the time so I can see it. It's on my phone. My email is always right in front of me. And so if you really want to contact me quick, that's the best way. And if you need to contact me, especially if you'd like to donate something to the cause, then please do contact me at my email so that I can get right back with you.
Yeah.
And let you know what our needs are. And anybody who donates to the project will be included in the credits.
Yeah.
Because you are the supporter. You are the person who's making this possible, and that's really an important part. So you're part of the production itself if you donate to our project.
I'm sorry. I'm having.
So she's laughing at.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm having PBS like.
PBS.
Yeah.
Now she's making fun of me. Okay,
no, I'm not
that's
making
cool.
fun of you. I'm saying that feels very PBS.
Feels very PBS.
Public broadcasting.
Okay.
Without support of viewers like you.
Yes, right. Without the support of viewers like you, we'll only be doing this with a cell phone and an old Nikon. That's it.
Well,
but you know
the
what?
power shot.
Well, we got another. We have two
cameras and two cell phones.
And we will shoot these with 2 cameras and 2 cell phones if that's what it comes down to.
Yep.
Because this is not a project that I'm going to say, well, I don't have enough cameras, so I can't do it. No, this is something I want to do, and like I said, I'll do it with my cell phone. If I have to go from town to town with my cell phone on my selfie stick. I'm sorry, I'm punch tired. I've been going since 5:30 this morning. But I wanted to update everybody, and please forgive us.
We're both real tired.
A little punch happy. I need a margarita.
I say that every day,
and I never have one. I just drink water all the time. Anyway,
better for you.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and if you can help out, wonderful. If not, just support us by being there. Support us by liking the page, subscribing to the YouTube channel, following the page, visiting the website. Just that is supportive.
And following the Instagram.
The Instagram, the Twitter, whatever you are comfortable with. And we're happy with that.
And sharing.
And yes, share the page. Because even if you can't give any money or anything, you can share the page and get more people involved in it. And the more support we have in that area,
the wider distribution
we have. the more places we can maybe find out about and visit. So the more Oregonians who know about this, the more input we get. And so we appreciate you. We appreciate your support. And thank you so much, and good night. Bye-bye.